Hello guys and welcome back to the STPL. It's been a long, well it feels like a long time, I don't actually know how long it's been. So here we are, we're back for the semi-finals of round 4 and it's me. Joining me is Rapid. I almost called you Kicks, that's me.
That's right, that's right, Kicks. It's good to be back for more STPL. It's bad that South Korea does not celebrate daylight savings time, which means that instead of being 5 a.m., I have to get up for this at 4 a.m., which is just a blessed privilege, let me tell you.
Well, I can't believe because daylight savings changed here on the 31st of March, I think it was.
Yeah,
and I don't think
just
I've
in
cast
time.
since then. So it's been a while, but as you can see, I'm in my new apartment, so no door. At the moment, it's
Oh, I actually
fully
can't
set
see
in
that.
stone.
Hold on. Oh my goodness. It looks so new. It's so
Yeah.
apartmenty.
It does. That's like my oven. Maybe moving my desk, so I'm not too sure about everything at the moment. But yeah, it's looking
Wait,
pretty
your
good.
oven is next to your desk?
Not next to it, so that's behind it. It's kind of weird. I guess I can turn my camera. My kitchen's over there. So.
Wait, how are you going to function without your shower being in your kitchen?
I don't know. It's scary. It's a weird experience having an actual bathroom with a bath in it and a shower. It's like, wait, what? What am I doing? How do I shower in this thing? I don't know how this works. But yeah, it's cool being here. I've been here since Thursdays ago, so I'm slowly getting settled in. But if there's an echo, that's why. So yeah, it's definitely better than my prison cell, which is nice.
That's right. Well, they had to let you out on good behavior soon enough, but don't worry, because as your parole officer, Kicks, I can revoke that at any moment.
Oh, good luck. I'm not going back to that place. You can't make me. Okay, well...
I'll never take you alive.
I guess it's a good time now to introduce both of our teams. It's been a while since I've done this, so let's show our first intro. It's going to be for SouL.
Earlier, I just wasn't paying attention to that, but the tanks are stasis in the back. And, you know, he's killing a few of them, but there's just not enough units here. He's dropping down to 90 supply.
And GG. But this is way too many units with just one gateway to hold off. The Temporal Archives is finished, but I think it's going to go down before he can build a DT. And I mean, he's going to try and get another Dragoon out. He really should just cancel this, but he can't. GG! Stargate Carrier to deal with this. And this is just the result of this. Look at the train of Goliaths coming forward. There's still like 20 Goliaths in his natural as well. Just absolutely insane. GG! A little bit of a good engagement at the top. Mello jumping on top of the Sunken. So will he be able to take one down? No, he won't. GG! Yeah. Bit of a stalemate. Here we go. The Zealots being sent in first. The Vultures actually out of position. This is going to allow the Zealots to get on top of the tanks. But is this going to be enough Protoss? I don't think it is. But more and more Zealots getting on top of absolutely everything. But there we go. It's too much. GG.
It's showtime.
Okay, just on to Lucky Noob. If Rapid set me free when I got to A rank, I would still be there, and I'd probably never leave. So it's good that I did get to leave before then, because that would have been a bit of a pain. But SouL's our first team here. Huge thank you, Hirmu, for the sub 20 months in a row. That's insane. I know it's kind of insane as well, because that means I've been streaming for just over 20 months, which doesn't make any sense. But SouL have had a pretty cool path here into the semi-finals. You can see all of their previous games there. Well, not all of them, but the last 10. You can see, like, the round 4 started with them facing off against NetWars. No, Clan Rev, I think. So it's been a while since I've last played. I know these games were actually played a little bit ago, but they've done pretty well. They went undefeated, so...
Yeah, they've been played so long ago that we've patched StarCraft 1 since then, and the games are no longer relevant. So, no, I'm just kidding. But it has been a very long time ago. And yeah, I'm excited to see SouL play just because you expect SouL to get to the playoffs, but you never know how they're going to perform. And, you know, they've gotten to the finals several times, but it's there's some stiff competition this time around.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the teams that beat them all the way back in round 1. It's going to be iRk. There's going to be a lot of Goliaths coming in back here. He should be building Goliaths off of all of his factories. And I mean, it's going to take an absolute age for these carriers to kill these tanks. And in the meantime, this tank in the front with 3 kills, 5 kills. GG! Now it looks like the units have been cleared in the top left. The base did go down. This base has gone down in the top right though. Medino mining out is going to have to tap out there. GG! He has the engagement he needs. Let's have a look as we go into here. The tanks getting dropped on at the back. A great engagement by DeWalt. The armory, the army of Vulture evaporating, and GG. This is still going to try and hold on. He's got another storm ready, but I mean realistically, what is this storm going to do? It kills a lot of Hydralisks at least, but GG. Starfall to maybe get a drop done, but Oyaji is going in. This is going to be the moment that Scan either holds or Oyaji wins this game. GG.
It's showtime.
Okay, so that's iRk. iRk have had a pretty good path here as well. They did come second in round 1 where they lost to White Clan. They were one of the only teams to beat White Clan though in round 1 as well. So White got their revenge there to get the round 1 win. But iRk, a fairly strong team as well. If we have a look at the matchup statistics, we'll see that iRk are actually, SouL are 2-1 against iRk in the last, the only 3 times they've played. SouL have won 25 of their series overall, and iRk have won 19. So, I mean, both of our teams here doing pretty well.
Yeah, iRk have had just a monstrous round 4, and so just to clarify, this is the round 4 playoffs. This is not the grand super ultra mega playoffs after all 4 rounds have been cumulatively totaled up. So we still have to close the book on the final chapter of STPL before we I don't know, close the bigger book that smaller book is inside of.
Yeah, this is the chapter, I guess, and then like the grand final playoffs, so like the epilogue, I guess.
Well, it's a 4-chapter book, so this might be like Mr. Bunky Goes to Town or something. But they're 4 very big chapters.
Yeah,
yeah.
They've been we've been going for over a year now, so more than over a year now. It's been 13 months since it started, which is kind of ridiculous. Part of that is because I've had a few breaks in between, like the last one where I moved house, so that's just, life gets in the way sometimes. But having a look at the matches we're going to see today, we're going to have quite a few good ones actually. We're going to start with Scan versus Marwin. That's going to be on Eye of the Storm at TVT. We're going to have YSC versus Kenzie on Great Barrier Reef in a PvZ. A ZVP between Zealot and Aru on Fortress SE. And finally, a ZVP between Spire and DeWalt on Neo Chain Reaction.
So here's the thing about SouL, and White Clan do this too, is they have such a big roster that you never know what you're going to get when you walk through that door, right? But this is SouL saying, look, you had a good season, but it's time to go. Because this is like by far their strongest lineup. I challenge you to find like a better player in SouL. Yeah, I mean, okay, so yes, they have other players who are also godlike, but every single one of these players, like Scan is almost qualified for ASL before. YSC is an ex-pro player. Zealot and Spire are like 2 of the best non-pro players out there right now, and so yeah, you're right. They're missing basically like Bjol and a couple of other players, but you can only put 4 players here, so you have to like leave some of them out. Oh my God, this is so good. And then you look across the lineup, and iRk, like, let's not get it twisted. DeWalt is playing better than he's ever played before in his life, from what he said most recently. And Kenzie's still very good. Marwin, Aru are good players, but like SouL's lineup is just transcendent. So I'd be very surprised if they don't go home with a win here today.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for iRk, but iRk is certainly not pulling any punches either. Marwin, a really, really good foreign Terran player. His TVT isn't that bad either, not that he gets really too much chance to show it off. Kenzie has been on a tear recently. Obviously, he plays PvZ, but he plays ZVP and ZVT, if I remember correctly. Aru is kind of a player that used to play a hell of a lot and kind of disappeared for a while, but has come back, and he's looking really, really strong at the moment. DeWalt, of course, arguably the best player on iRk, and overall, after training in Korea, as you said, he has got much, much better. But the one thing that could come back and bite iRk here is, are they betting on getting to the fourth game a little bit too much. Obviously, putting DeWalt in fourth place is good if you want to, well, if you want to get 2-2 if it goes to that, or if you feel like you're going to win before then, and maybe you don't need to send a DeWalt early. But we've seen games where it's been like 1-3 because they put their strongest player in fourth position and not third. So I hope that's not going to happen here.
Yeah, no, I had the same thought. I mean, you get to revive your strongest player when you get to the finals, right?
Yeah.
So you can actually just use the strong player earlier to make sure that you're going to get to the finals. So I almost always see players put their strongest lineup, first or second, and then kind of revive that when they get to game number 5. I can see the idea because DeWalt will definitely help you get to that 5th game, but like, you're going to need to get there. So I'm with you there, Kix.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the player info for Scan, I mean, we are going to start with that TBT. Scan has been bossing it. He's had 18 total wins. He's got 4 wins against Terran. His last, I think this is 10 games. He's got 9 out of 10 wins. The only player I actually lost to in the last 10 games was Anne for Valhalla team, and that was the TBP on Neo Chain Reaction. So Scan is a really, really strong player. Looking forward to seeing how he's going to do. And his opponent here for iRk is going to be Marwin. Marwin hasn't had the same kind of successes that Scan has. He's been up against some really, really strong opponents. I mean, the last game he played, he was up against his clanmate in Eon Zerg. Both of them are on IFU still, I think, but team-wise are on iRk and Naz. He lost to Gogi for White, who's also a really good Protoss player, and the only TBT he's actually played and lost was to Koga, who's arguably, actually by far the best Polish Terran, so kind of crazy.
Yeah, losing to Koga is nothing to be ashamed of. Like, that guy is just a monster. For Marwin, though, you were saying that specifically his TBT is not that bad, but just his record in STPL, a little bit less than stellar.
Yeah, I mean, overall, he's got a 42% win rate, but he's not really had that much time to prove himself. I mean, he joined iRk in September last year for round 3, and he's not really played all that many games, so it's going to be cool to see him play here against Scan regardless. As we get into map number 1, which is going to be over here on Eye of the Storm. Now, Eye of the Storm, they only had 1 TBT on here so far, where Scan beat Vulture. So Scan has had a game on here. Vulture a little bit under his level, so you can't really take too much from that. And of course it is a mirror match, but 4 corners, very small choke into the main. Very easy to siege your opponent's main as well if you push siege tanks very early on. And it's kind of hard to make Vulture builds work here too well, because tanks obviously have the range advantage of the ramps and whatnot. So without further ado, let's get into game number 1 of the STPL Round 4. STPL Round 4 semi-finals. It's SouL versus iRk. Okay, and starting us off here in the bottom right-hand position, we do have the White Terran fighting for SouL. I guess it's more the peach. It's going to be Scan.
And his opponent, man, no, I know what you mean, Kix. This is, I'm busting off some cobwebs here. His opponent in the blue, in the bottom left-hand corner, is the Terran player from iRk, Marwin. Something just feels like right about this, Kix. Like, after years and years of sacrificing like sleep and sanity, both of us have kind of, like we've gotten here together, and of course with everybody in Twitch chats. So a big thanks to everybody else who, is postponing whatever else you could be doing right now for, of course, the better choice is watching STPL. And it's kind of sad, Kix. One, because STPL is kind of coming to a close after almost a year, but also because eventually we're going to force you to give away the prize money for STPL. And I as soon as you got your new apartment, I just couldn't help but think, I was like, I know what happened to the STPL prize money.
Yeah, it's luckily enough, it's in Maturino. Maturino, a sponsor technically of the STPL, and they're a really, really good service for tournament organizers. It's where you can community fund prize pools and other things, and you can support stuff like the pylon show there as well. and overall they're really, really cool. So yeah, shout out to Symmetra too, because they've still got the prize money. So luckily enough, I don't need to don't need to worry about people thinking I'm running away with it.
Well, I mean, we can still worry about that. But anyway, I mean, it's nice to see that pretty much nothing has changed as far as this matchup goes. It's basically exactly the same. I don't think that there's going to be too many crazy deviations. Wait a second. Is it exactly the same? Right before I said that, I checked the gas geysers, and I was like, wait a second. One of them has it and the other doesn't. So it's in fact, Kicks, not the same at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird to see this happen, but Scan is a big advocate of, he really does, sorry, I'm trying to think of the right words, I've completely forgotten how words work now, but he does like going for 1 Rax Fast Expand in TBT. He also goes 14cc quite a bit as well, but looks like Marwin is going to play a little bit more, I wouldn't even like to say it's aggressive, because he's going to be going most likely for a Fast Expand himself, because he's taken 2 guys off gas, so it's just going to be 1 fact Fast Expand versus 1 Rax as well, so not really too aggressive from either side.
Well, I mean, Scan's just going for the next to most fastest way to get a command center down, if I said that correctly. And so so Scan's command center is going to be done by the time that Marwin's is started, just to kind of put that in comparison. And so unless you push with that tech advantage, so something like a Vulture or a Wraith or something like that, I mean, you're right, it's just going to be the factory here. He's not like going the Terran 111, but it is just going to be a much more delayed command center for Marwin. I mean, Scan's going to have to put down a bunker and maybe play a little bit defensively, but his economy should be better because of it.
Yeah, now the good thing is he did force the SUV away, so there's not going to be too much information gained by Scan here. It does make it very annoying because you don't know what you're facing, but the one beauty of 1 Rax Fast Expand and TBT, especially on something like Eye of the Storm, if you put your bunker there, you put your barracks there, and all of a sudden Vultures can't really get into your base. So the good thing is, as well, for Scan, is one thing Flash said it was quite recently when I heard about it, but this was months ago now. Flash was basically saying if you can force more than 2 Marines from the 1 Rax Fast Expand player, go in 1 Factory Expand, you're actually ahead. So luckily enough, Scan's going to be ahead here. The command center's up way before, and it's just going to be seeing how exactly both the builds kind of divulge from here.
And let's get it. Yeah, diverge, divulge, defenestrate, one of those words, you know. I like what you were saying about forcing more Marines, because the idea is that with like a 14cc, you're trying to be as greedy as possible. And the 1 Rax Expand is kind of a nice sort of middle of the road build, but for Scan, who is already just a very, very talented, experienced Terran player, you know, he doesn't really need any extra advantages, and he's certainly got one of them, being allowed to play, you know, this kind of greedily. It's not extremely greedy, but his factories are just now coming up, whereas on the other side, Marwin has 2 Vultures already headed across the map.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though, because with 1 Rax Fast Expand, it is like 14cc. You would think that would get to 2 factories slower than the others, but you get the 2 factories faster somehow. And with 1 Rax FE, you get it quicker than if you're going 1 Fact FE as well. So the second factory is going to be up for Scan, so even though he's got a unit deficit for the moment, and obviously a tech deficit as well, eventually he is going to be able to catch up in units, and you can see that Scan is already going into tanks, so he's already getting ready for some possible aggression here coming in from Marwin.
Yeah, but I like what this is going to do for Marwin. It's going to be all blue all the time, all over the map, and that means that he's going to be able to set up big minefields, get lots of scouting information, kind of dictate the pace for this game. Now, obviously, losing this barracks would be a little bit sloppy, so he's trying to save that here, and so Scan's going to kind of micro against that to make sure he gets it down and burning as quickly as possible. Is he actually going to take that out?
Yeah, he is. I mean, it's not too much of a big deal. Marwin's already got a third factory up. But in a couple of minutes, maybe if he doesn't build it quick enough again...
he's going to try to save it. Oh, the SCV's on the way. Oh, is he going to get it in time? Yeah, he's going to get it. Right?
Yeah, I think so, just. This is close.
Oh my goodness. Wow, okay, that was a little bit too close for comfort.
Yeah, he doesn't have his academy yet, so that's a pretty big deal if he would have lost that barracks. But I guess he was playing quite not aggressively as such. Or Mines get one of the Marines, but you can see 3 tanks on the way already. They do have siege mode on the way, and the 3 Marines are doing a lot to actually kill these mines very, very quickly. This barracks may in fact go down eventually anyway. Good try by the SCV, but luckily enough, Marwin's going to scout that this is coming.
I've never seen a game where one player like goes out and kills the other player because they're fighting over a 2 HP barracks. Usually the barracks is not the objective really that players are willing to like go out and go head to head against. I think this does showcase that right now Scan has 3 tanks sitting on his side of the map, and on the other side of the map, Marwin, he's just sitting on Vulture Marine for the most part. So
yeah, he's actually just pure Vulture. So
yeah, he doesn't actually have any tanks at all.
This is going to be a big gamble from him. I think the plan is going to be he's going to try and rely entirely on mines, which Scan is going to be able to do a pretty decent job of killing. And then Marwin's going to have to try and go around and kill all the SCVs, because without tanks, without siege mode, this could be very, very dangerous. Now, looks like we've dropped slightly somehow, but looks like we're okay now. But with these Goliaths, these mines are not going to do anything.
Yeah. Goliaths are like the best unit to kill mines, and even the Marines are going to help out because you can soak the mines with the Marines by using them as sort of minesweepers, taking one for the team.
Yep.
But yeah, mines are going to be absolutely totally useless here, and so are really the Vultures. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's killing off the Marines. He's going to get in on top of the tanks. You can lay these mines on the siege tanks, and they might go off. One of them pops up and almost hits the tank, but it's just a little bit too tanky.
Yep, and you can see there's only 1 tank here for Marwin. Marwin really playing a little bit of a, well, not greedy, but he was just playing way too heavily on Vultures when his opponent was going for tanks already. And that was one of the big mistakes that Marwin made this game so far. I mean, he still does have the opportunity to hold on. He's got siege mode, but he's going to find himself in a really precarious position. And we'll start to see that slowly but surely Scan is really going to try and bring a stranglehold in. And this is going to be a free tank here, GG!
Yeah. So, yeah, TVT is kind of about tanks. I mean, that's what the T's stand for, right? Tank versus tank, right? We didn't really even get a chance to see that. Really cool to see Scan not only execute the early game pretty flawlessly, but just realize, wait a second, tanks can't actually be stopped by just plain Vultures. And I like mixing into just like 2 Goliaths, I think it was, because they not only allow you to like push back the barracks, and that was kind of what that first big fight, but also like you can't just you don't die to mines if you have Goliaths in your army, taking them out just a little bit by little bit. So yeah, a little bit of an over-reliance on mines there by Marwin, but Scan just really, really solid, gives SouL their first win.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of ZVP, this is the right place to be, because the next following 3 games are going to be ZVPs, much like a lot of round 4 actually. So yeah, it's going to be kind of cool to have a few ZVPs here. The next one we're going to be seeing is going to be YSC versus Kenzie. That's good. No, it is YSC versus Kenzie. When we get back after this very short break. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. We're here for the first semi-final of the STPL round 4. There's so many things I can say in my head and they're all coming out wrong, but it's all good. There's been a long break, so it's fine. We're going to be heading into game number 2. It's going to be YSC versus Kenzie. So let's quickly introduce our first couple of players, well, our set of players. The first one, going to be YSC. YSC has only actually played 2 games for SouL. He has won both of them, so he beat the Camper and he beat Koga. They were both PBTs, so we've not seen his EVP. But he is an ex Samsung Khan pro gamer. He played on Samsung Khan, I think, in 2009, and his name was Huro. So he's been around a while. It's kind of cool to see him back here once again. And his opponent going to be the foreign powerhouse at the moment. It's going to be Kenzie. Now Kenzie has actually won all 5 of his games, all 6 of his games even, in the STPL so far, so 100% win rate for him so far.
So wait, 2 100% players playing against each other? An unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. But, you know, YSC's job is to take prize money from good, upstanding non-Korean players' kicks. And he's done such a good job of that it's hard to root against him in this matchup. You know, Kenzie, he's had like some sick rivalries over the course of his career, but I want to say that he's still in very good shape. One of the cool things about Kenzie is he's one of this like small cabal of like French Brood War players who race picks. So he plays a bunch of different matchups. But at least in this one, we are going to get to see him play his main. The problem is that even on, I think, what is kind of considered his main race, I mean, YSC is just a monster. So, yeah, once again, it's kind of hard to see iRk taking the series back, but somebody's going to have to take a game off SouL so that we get a chance to see DeWalt take them to an ace match in game 4.
So having a look at the map we're going to be seeing here, it's one of the 3-player maps that we've had in round 4. It's Great Barrier Reef based on El Nino. They come out in 2010. We've had a lot of really cool games on this. Zerg are actually 3-1 up, which statistically puts Kenzie a little bit of an advantage here. Obviously the sample size isn't the biggest, but that does increase over time and will continue to increase as we go through the STPL seasons and whatnot. So it's kind of cool to see Great Barrier Reef here anyway. It is 3-player map. We've got both, well, one of the players, we've got a Protoss player spawning in 12 and our Zerg player spawning in the 8 o'clock position. Relatively easy to secure 3rd base behind your natural mineral line, but it is a mineral only. If you want to get a 3rd gas, you have to go a little bit further away or skip across the minerals, which, to be honest, is a little bit better on this map for Protoss to do than it is for Zerg. Obviously, shuttles are a very powerful thing in this matchup. We'll have to see exactly how this game is going to go. We obviously saw a quick game between Scan and Marwin. Are we going to see another repeat of that, or are we going to see a long macro game? There's only one way to find out as we get into game number 2. Okay, and starting us off here in the 12 o'clock position, we do have the Purple Protoss fighting for SouL. It's YSC.
And his opponent, playing at a brisk turn rate 8, is the French Zerg player Kenzie. The bottom left playing for iRk.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like
we can only expect. Yeah, thankfully, I would hope so. Otherwise, yeah, who was it? Who was it that we saw play? Oh, I think it was like a BSL series where there was just like a series of 5 turn rate 8 games in a row, and they were just the most horrible things I've ever seen. So if we can have less of those, that would be great. And it looks like things are maybe speeding up a little bit for our players, so hopefully that continues.
Yeah, it's I mean, one thing about having a global tournament is you are going to have lag problems sometimes. France to Korea, not the best connection, especially because France, Germany, and the UK have like the worst internet in Europe as well, which definitely doesn't help. But it's mainly that loop around China that becomes a little bit of a problem with those internet lines. But YSC never want to turn down a challenge. Kenzie never want to turn down a challenge either. Both of them getting into this game now. Not really too much to talk about as of yet. But YSC is most likely going to go for Forge Fast Expand, I would imagine. And Kenzie is probably going to go for an early hatchery, which his drone is about to go and do. So...
Yes.
Oh,
oh, wow. That's so huge. I can't tell you how much delayed that hatchery would be if it was just 0.5 seconds later.
Nexus first. I mean, that's quite greedy, but if you know your opponent's going for 12 hatchery, why not go for it? You know, you've already scouted
technically it's
so...
pylon first kicks, but...
Yeah.
You're right. It is a very fast Nexus there for YSC. And you know, every time I see a Korean Protoss do this against a non-Korean player, you kind of have to wonder if this is another one of those skill checks. If it's basically saying, look, come try to kill me, I dare you. And in a lot of situations, you actually see Zergs go across the map and kill the Protoss player because his build is very, very vulnerable. But I'm not sure if Kenzie can kind of shift gears quickly enough to make that happen. And also if he can actually even kill YSC because he's just so good at defending this opening.
Yeah, I think this is mainly the reason why Overpool is so popular in CBP, because it does give you the option if needs be to go aggressive, but then I don't think YSC would have gone for Nexus first if he knew there was a pool there. So good moves by YSC, getting a little bit lucky given the fact he did scout first, so that did give him a little bit of an advantage going into this build. But we've got the gateway, the forge now up, there's going to be a cannon behind this, and he's pretty much safe against anything that Kenzie can throw at him for the time being. But Kenzie taking his third base down here in the other natural expansion, and obviously if the game goes on a lot longer, this expansion is going to be very, very important. It's going to give him access to the other main, and more importantly, it's going to pretty much cut YSC off of 2 gas bases, so pretty important base to hold.
Yeah, of course, very, very important. Some players you'll see mine out that 100 mineral patch at their natural to get up to the mineral only that's a little bit north of there. But obviously you don't want to expand towards the Protoss player. That's probably not a great idea, because then a probe glitches through and builds cannons there and you can't mine anymore. But yeah, he's already taking his third here. And you know, I had the, what do you call this, privilege of casting Modesty, or was it Modesty? No, it was Queen or Zero. Go 3 hatch Hydra basically every single game in a row and fail miserably at it. And that was a little bit of a weird way to start off the season of KSL. And so every time I see a Zerg's third hatchery come down, I hold my breath, because I think I'm always a little bit worried that could be the case, but I don't think that's what we're going to see here. Plenty of droning going on, and already a lair at the natural.
Yeah. Lair at the natural is kind of interesting. You don't really see the lair here too often, but it does give it a little bit more health, obviously, which will help against any bust attempts later on. YSC, in the meantime, is going for Citadel first into a Stargate, so he's going to be able to get a very quick Templar Archives, which is actually already coming up in his natural, so there's going to be a very quick storm or very quick DTs here, and both of them could spell disaster for Kenzie if he's not prepared. Yeah.
It sure could, Kicks. My favorite thing is when a player, and this is not what's happening here, but when a player goes super aggressively, or goes for some sort of like sneaky cheese, right? But they don't block the probe and it gets in and sees everything. But then there's the other side of that coin where they try too hard to block the probe and it gives away that they're going for something a little bit weird. So that's kind of where we are here with Kenzie and his 8 lings hunting down a pesky probe. And so I'm like, okay, sick, you killed the scouting probe on the map, but what does that force YSC to kind of think about? Is he just totally confident getting up his storm and staying on his side of the map? Or is he maybe thinking he's about to get busted?
He's taking a third base behind the minerals like I thought he would do. Use a probe, used a pylon to push it through, like you can do on Outsider as well. That was a map that used to be on the ladder. But yeah, YSC going to take a very quick, very well defended third base. And unless we see Overlord speed with drops, there's not really going to be anything that Kenzie can do to stop it.
My thing is, like, Kenzie's Scourge are way late. I thought he was just going to defend with Hydras, but the Den's not even done yet. And so even the Scourge are just now popping, but they're not killing. So he kills one Corsair, I think. But let's check out this DT in the natural. This is going to be the real tell.
Oh,
One,
yeah, there's no Overlord
2,
there.
3, 4. Oh man, this is it's a decent pull, and the Overlord spawns at a good time here. But what's going to stop the DT?
Yeah, there's
the
no
drones are trying to glitch it on the ramp.
There's absolutely no units on the ground on these lings. They're going to come back. They're not going to be able to kill this DT unless they get a good surround. But this Overlord's moving away to chase the DT. Oh, there is a second Overlord there. I couldn't see it for a second. But that's more kills. 11 kills on this DT. 12 kills. Man, Kenzie took a ton of damage there.
I just can't believe that things fell apart just specifically at that time. I mean, obviously you expect to have a little bit left at home, but there was this perfect storm where neither of the Sunkens were done, and the Overlord got taken out earlier. So, wow, that's a lot of damage to take. And even though maybe you can drone your way back into this, I mean, that's still just really, really rough. And what does he have to counterattack with? It's Scourge and Lings, and nothing that's not going to do anything. So at this point, I mean, YSC is feeling super safe, especially because he took that back natural.
Yeah, no, he does
have
back
third base.
He has 4 Corsairs, so that is going to keep him alive against any possible mutant switches as well. Looks like there was another DT that went down to the bottom right, but didn't get too much down. The Sunken did finish up there and killed it. But he does need to really look at adding some spores, possibly, just in case of Overlords. It looks like he does have one in the natural now. So Kenzie is going to be able to sort of stabilize for a while, but he's down a lot in supply already. We can already see a Zealot and an Archon heading on out from the main here of YSC, and he's got perfect confidence here to just move around. He knows the opponent doesn't have a large number of Hydras, doesn't have a large number of stacked defense either. I mean, he's starting to get at the third base now, but this is going to be a strong attack.
Yeah, very, very strong attack, and even some of these Sunkens are a little bit damaged. The SimCity, though, is really good, so it's hard to take that away from this position. The problem is that that's only on the ground, and this is 6 Corsairs that are running around the map killing everything. They have +1 as well, so you're really going to need a lot to take them out. And, I mean, this is a big storm of Scourge, or Swarm, or whatever you want to... What do you call a swarm of Scourge? I'm just going to call it a swarm, because it's...
A gaggle of Scourge.
A gaggle there. Oh no, they died to 1 Archon hit. The tragedy.
Yeah, they do get a few hits on the Corsair, but not really enough. I mean, luckily enough, he does have spores now, so even if he loses the Overlord, it's not game over. But still, you don't want to be losing your Overlords at this point in the game.
He's got like 6, 7 Corsairs here.
That's keeping his
Overlords
alive a little bit better. But this Muta's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, Muta's spawning 1 by 1, hurrah, hurrah, is not going to be able to do much. And I'm glad that he kind of like committed and sacked a couple of Corsairs, because so many Overlords went down there. I mean, granted, Kenzie is still only at 48 out of 78 supply, so, you know, maybe he doesn't need too many Overlords. But what does he even have to try to stop this ground army? It's just Zerglings.
Yeah, he's going to try and use his Lings to block the Zealots, but the Archons are just doing so much damage. He's got so many Scourge, but Scourge, unfortunately, aren't going to save you against the ground here, and the Natural's been busted. That could be it. GG. Kenzie taps out, and YSC takes game number 2.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, just not the right things at the right time there. It felt like there were tons of Scourge when he didn't need them, and not tons of anything on the ground when that 1 DT ran in and killed like 8 drones. So,
yeah, he built the Hydra down, and I don't think he actually built a single Hydra that game, which is kind of interesting, but maybe
that key was broken on his keyboard.
And unfortunately, he didn't have enough units to execute the plan. So really well played by YSC, and that's going to take us into game number 3, which is going to be SouL's Zealot versus iRk's Aru. And when we get back after this very short break. Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. My name is Kix, joining me is Rapid, and we're here for SouL versus iRk. SouL are currently up 2-0. It's going to be up to the next two players. It's going to be up to Aru here to try and keep the hope alive of iRk if they want to make it to the ace match, because this is match point for SouL.
Yeah, this is where having DeWalt as your fourth player might come in to bite you, because I mean, nothing against the rest of the members of iRk, but just DeWalt has gotten them so many ace match wins, so many wins just in general. He's one of the best players in STPL, and it's hard to not want that guy to help get you through your series. But if you lose your first 3 games, then no matter how good he is, even if he wins, it won't help you win the series. So I'm pulling for iRk. You know, I don't want this to be a speedrunning STPL tonight. It's good to be back, and I want the games to be good too.
Yep, so there's not really too much to say about Zealot, so I'm actually going to skip him. He's making his debut here in the STPL in the semi-finals for SouL. Going to be his first game. His opponent, though, is going to be up against iRk's Aru. And Aru has played 3 games. He lost twice, he lost twice, won once. Lost to Ariador, lost to Mitak, but beat Darkish. So not the highest win rate, not the sort of biggest sample size of games either for Aru. I think this is definitely going to be tough for him, but maybe he can do something a little bit cheeky and bring himself a win for iRk. Let's actually have a look at the map they're going to be playing on. It's going to be Fortress SE. 4 corners, well, not 4 corners, I guess they're the 4. It's in like a plus sign. You've got 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock spawns. We've got one of our players, Zealot, over in the 9 o'clock position, and Aru's up at the 12 o'clock. And in terms of ZVP, we've actually got 3-1 in favor of Zerg again. So Zerg with a little bit of a bonus here over Protoss. So we'll have to see if Zealot can ride that home and give SouL the match win, or if we're going to see yet another game 4 where we could go to an ace match. Let's find out as we get into game at number 3. Okay, and starting us off here in the 9 o'clock position is going to be the red Zerg fighting for SouL. It's Zealot.
That's right, and his opponent in the, I guess, 11 o'clock position up the top is iRk's Protoss player Aru in the orange. Although I can never tell with Protoss because yellow and orange look exactly the same.
Yeah, yellow is like the Protoss color where it all just makes the units all look the same because everything is yellow, but orange is at least slightly visible. I mean, luckily enough we're not on a desert map as well, and it's not orange versus yellow, because that's a real pain.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget casting. I think it was like Best versus Shuttle or I Am Mong or somebody, and it was yellow Archons versus orange Archons, and on a desert tile set, I might add. So yeah. So it was just actually the worst combination. It was terrible. So thankfully, yes, we don't have to do that this time. This is like, I usually say ketchup and mustard when it's yellow, but it's orange, and I'm not sure if there's an orange condiment out there. Is there?
Some mustard can kind of be orangey, I guess.
Really? I feel like if we had Cheetos dust as a condiment, that would A, make my life amazing, and B, be an orange condiment, but I don't know if that counts.
You know what? I'm trying to think of like orange sauces, and I can't really think of any. I guess you could have like
okay, it's like
chutneys.
Thousand Island dressing is pretty orange.
That's more peachy though.
But that's not really.
It?
Dude, Kix, help me out here.
Okay.
Yes,
well,
it's a little peachy. Somebody says Chipotle, that's more red than orange. Buffalo sauce, there you go. All right, we got our ketchup and buffalo sauce matchup.
Buffalo sauce. I don't even know what that is. So.
Have you never had a buffalo wing?
No. Oh wait, yes I have. But,
okay, all right. Thanks. Buffalo sauce is a lot like hollandaise. It's like one of the trifecta of perfect sauces.
Hollandaise sauce is very, very nice. So I'm going to take your word for that.
Okay, anyways, moving on to the actual Brood War. This is an overpool, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, there's an overpull into a hatchery. We're going to forge fast expand for Aru. He's going to go into a single cannon behind this. Zealot is going to get a couple of blings out and go straight into a third hatchery in the middle of the map. So Zealot could be looking to be a little bit aggressive here to sort of close out the series almost super quickly.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about this. There's two things going on there. One is that Aru double probe scouted, which is a little bit weird, and it almost always means that you want one probe to actually find the guy and the other probe to do something sneaky, and you could already see that happening in the south center of the map. There's a pylon going down at one of those inner thirds, and so this is mostly, I always expect either DTs or Reavers, one or the other, and it does appear as if, well, it's really weird to watch this too, because it's coming down at the same time as everything in the natural as well. Gateway, okay.
Is he just gonna like 4-gate with the expansion
okay,
as well?
Okay, he's 4-gating, yeah. Nice.
This could actually be kind of cool because Zealot is likely not going to have any defense over here at his third base. His main is likely not going to have too much, but he will have a Hydralist Den. He's going into Hydra Den without a single drone at his natural as well, so this is definitely going to be a super aggressive Hydra play. And could this 4-gate actually catch Zealot off guard? I mean, Aru's obviously going to have to be careful and make sure that he has enough cannons back at home. But as long as he's got the cannons back at home, then these 3 gateways could go kill Zealot.
Now, he does need to maybe pull a probe or 2. Okay, no, he's got the Zealot out just in time. I'm always a little bit worried because you think 1 cannon's enough, and then it's not.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he did pull the probe along with the Zealot. And he's also blocking the lower egg as well, because that is not tight. So you got to make sure that none of these Zerglings just get through, because that's one way to really screw up your build, is to get 1 Ling inside and kind of start stroking their chin and wondering where everything else is.
Well, it's like if you think about it in terms of Lings getting into your base, just look at Eon Zerg versus Bonneth in the previous STPL games, where Eon Zerg just got like 4 Lings in behind and then killed Bonneth. So looks like Aru's a little bit more, oh, this could be dangerous. So moving out across against 5 Lings, I guess he wants to try and force the Lings back to try and give up or give as little information as possible. But is he maybe activating this a little bit too soon? The 3 Zealots coming in with the probe from the back. They're going to get into this third base, and that's going to be a little bit of a surprise here for Zealot, who is not
the problem
this.
Is, you know, that you can kind of push these 2 Zealots and probe back a little bit, but then you let the rest of the Zealots into the main. And look at this, there's only 3 Hydras here, Kicks, against, what is that, 6, 7 Zealots? Now, going in without your full number of... Yeah, going on without your full number of Zealots is a little bit risky, because a couple of these Zealots are very low. Yeah, one of them getting picked off right there. But yeah, the Zealot numbers are just going to grow so incredibly quickly here. And now all of a sudden Zealot is just in panic mode, because he might just die to his name.
Yeah, now that is kind of funny actually, I didn't think of that, but the Zealots getting on top of these Hydras in the main, the drones have all been pulled back. If he can clear up these Hydras, he's going to be in a good position, but this is an all-in from Aru. If this doesn't work, he is going to be really far behind, but the Zealot in the mineral line getting 4 kills. He does lose all of his Zealots at the front, but still there's more Zealots. Oh man, he's actually hiding the Hydra underneath the Overlords. Not intentionally, but that was kind of cool.
It looks cool. So he's going to try to target down the 3rd hatchery. If he does, then he'll most certainly lose every single one of these Zealots and then die to a counterattack. So he's forced to pull off of it, and he is dealing quite a bit of damage with the Zealots. The only problem is, like this is all in. You have 3 gateways in the middle of the map, and it's not going to be a rocket science class to find out where those are after the Zealots all die.
Yeah,
so it's a good job by Zealot.
He doesn't have speed, and he can't get speed either. Just imagine if this had speed as well. Like, Zealot wouldn't have a chance, I don't think, but the micro from Zealot has just been incredible.
Yeah, no, this is incredible stutter stepping. He did get a little bit lucky to go for an aggressive build already. If he was, trying to get, 3 hatch before a pool or something like that, you roll over. But he did have the Hydras exactly when he needed them. The micro was insane. And yeah, now that he's found them, this is pretty much over.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Aru can try back at home and try and macro back up, but losing these 3 gateways is going to be massive. Wow, Zealot didn't see the gateways.
Did he really turn around?
Yeah, he didn't quite see them.
Barely missed them.
Yeah, I looked at his vision and you can barely see where the gateways are. on the edge of it, but it looks like Zealot's still going to be looking around for them. That's going to buy Aru a little bit of time. The trouble is, Aru's extra Zealot's going to move in here and maybe give away at the position again. It looks like Zealot's going to come back. Not going to find them still, but oh, he's found them now.
He finally found them, so yeah. This is where the game really kind of explodes, because you can see Aru cannoning up back at home. Even if those cannons do keep him alive, it's going to be this scared, like whimpering, helpless Protoss player on 2 bases against a Zerg that can take the entire rest of the map. Yeah, he actually is still not getting... Wow, okay. Just now starting his assimilator in the main. Ugh.
If you think about it, you don't need gas for Zealots and cannons, so let's go. Gasless Protoss, 8 minutes.
This is hashtag Protoss logic here.
Yeah, the more gateways you get, the more Zealots. I mean, Zealots are pretty strong units, so... Well, why do you need anything else? Gas is a fool's game. This is why you need gas, though. You need tech, because this amount of Hydras, doesn't matter how many cannons you get, eventually you're going to lose all the cannons, and I don't think there's actually too much you can do. I mean, there's so many drones now on... Well, I say there's so many drones, there's actually not that many drones for Zealot, but he's up 20 supply, so...
Yeah, oh, this looks like 5-hatch Hydra on just 3 hatcheries because there's just so many. And that is a comical number of cannons kicks. So he actually might hold on here, but...
No, I don't think he can.
Really? I mean, probes are good kicks.
Yeah, but not that good. I mean, you can see that he's onto... Oh, wow, he's actually going to force the Hydras back, but the only 2 cannons that remain are going to be very, very vulnerable. The Forge is going to go down, and when you lose your Forge, you've got no unit, or no cannons. When you lose your gateway, when you've already lost 3 already, you don't have any gateway units either, so... this is definitely going to be it, I think. Aru's going to pull all his probes from the main, or at least a good number of them, and just try and hold on, but you can see the amount of Hydralisks, like, streaming across the map. Just going to make this a nightmare for Aru.
And this is why you don't put DeWalt 4th. You gotta get there in order for it to matter. This is going to... I mean, pretty much seal the deal here, and SouL are looking at a 3-0 match in the semifinals.
Yeah, they do get the 3-0. They did play the 4th game anyway, just for the statistics mainly. And when they play, they don't actually know if they're going to the ace match because they play all at the same time. But it's kind of cool to see Aru. I mean, it was a nice try. It nearly worked. But I really feel that if he'd added Zealot speed there as well... And if he'd hidden the, maybe if he'd hidden the Zealots a little bit longer as well, if he waited for like 10 Zealots from the bottom base, and then wait until Zealot tried to be more aggressive, then maybe that would have worked better. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way today, so that is going to be the end of that game, with SouL taking the 3-0 victory, I guess. But we'll get into
we still have the 4th game, but in the end, I think you just looking at the lineup, SouL had a pretty good chance of taking the series even still.
Yeah, so we'll be back in just a second with DeWalt versus Spire. Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. It's the semi-finals. It's SouL versus iRk. SouL have just taken the 3-0 victory, but iRk are going to be stepping up here to try and get a little bit of pride back in their team here as they head towards the 3rd and 4th place match. But still, they put up a good effort. Aru with a really nice try and all in before, a little bit misplayed, so he did lose that game unfortunately. And DeWalt's going to be here to try and pick up the pieces.
Yeah, I mean, this is the moral victory game, right? Where DeWalt comes out and crushes the hopes and dreams of an aspiring South Korean pro gamer, which is why in all of these tournaments that allow both foreign players and South Korean players, we've decided to not let the foreign players like DeWalt participate to give the South Korean lads a chance. Unfortunately, that's not the alternate reality that we live in, but still this should actually be a fantastic game because it's against one of the best non-Korean players in the world, DeWalt, and a super sick monster guy that's won plenty of Have At You cups, a guy named Spire, who is just an insanely talented amateur Korean player, so can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, so just to quickly show off DeWalt first. I mean, DeWalt's won his last 10 games. They've been against some pretty good players. The last game he played was on the 24th of March, where he beat Terra to take them over Naz into 1st place in their group. So, wait, am I remembering that wrong? I think I'm remembering that wrong. But at least, yeah, DeWalt beat Terra, but then I think Naz won overall. So, iRk came out 2nd because SouL won their group. So last 10 game wins. I think he's actually the top highest rated ELO player. Actually, let's have a quick look at that because I think Spire might be up there as well. But yeah, so he's not the highest. DeWalt is actually at 2157. He's at 7th. But in terms of wins, he's got the most wins in the STPL. So DeWalt overall, a complete and utter boss. And his opponent going to be for SouL. It's, as you said, going to be Spire, really, really good, aspiring amateur Korean player at the moment. And overall in the STPL, he's done really well. 69% win rate, 4 wins, 2 losses. So close to 420, 69, which would be really funny. But regardless, I mean, Spire's won 7 of his last 10 games, and he's also beaten some really, really good players.
Yeah, I'm actually really impressed with Spire. Some of his losses there against Mook makes a little bit of sense, but Medino taking him out earlier, that still impresses me. That series versus True. Yeah, that series versus True Touch was also incredibly sick. So a lot of Spire's losses has been for a good cause, and that is giving us dope games of StarCraft. So I don't know who to favor here. Spire is so insane, but so is DeWalt. And we were figuring this out earlier. This is not while DeWalt was playing from Korea. So there might be a little bit of latency, but it still shouldn't affect them too much because DeWalt actually doesn't live that far away from Korea.
Yeah, so DeWalt is going to be playing here with Spire on Neo Chain Reaction. It's our one of our 2-player maps for round 4. We've seen some amazing games on here. The PvZs have been a little bit more one-sided than maybe the TVPs have. But, I mean, both in ZVP and PvT, we've had 3-3 and 2-2 respectively. So, really, really well-balanced map, at least in STPL statistic standards. Not really too much to say about PvZ here other than the fact it's going to be very, very difficult for Zerg to break the Protoss super early on, but then it becomes a little bit more difficult for Protoss to expand, as getting a 3rd base on this map is quite difficult for Protoss. Obviously a little bit easier for Zerg if they play aggressively, but if the game goes on long enough, shuttles become very, very strong here. Lots of places you can fly those around, and lots of places you can storm drop as well. So let's get into game number 4, the final match of today. It's going to be Spire versus DeWalt. Okay, so starting us off here in the 3 o'clock position, we do have the blue Protoss fighting for iRk. It's DeWalt.
That's right. And his opponent on the left-hand side of your screen in the yellow as Zerg. This is SouL's player Spire. And I think we're going to get a chance to see another textbook opener, but I think probably DeWalt will not be building 3 gateways in the middle of the map.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the weirdest builds I think you'll see in CVP. I mean, Aru unfortunately didn't get it to work. Maybe a few changes there, and he could have taken down Zealot, which would have been a really impressive win. And maybe DeWalt would be here fighting for an ace match now. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But I mean, Spire plays relatively standard from what I've seen of his play so far. Played in a lot of the Havatus, but so has DeWalt. DeWalt's played in BSL, obviously did very, very well in BSL. Has played in many, many different tournaments, and just overall, arguably one of the top 2 foreigners at the moment, maybe top 3. But I'd say the top 2 personally for me at the moment are Eon Zerg and Bonith. Sorry, Eon Zerg and DeWalt even, and then Bonith is behind them at the moment, I'd say. But obviously, there's a lot to discuss there. But Overpool coming in from Spire.
Yeah, so no mysteries here from Spire. Very standard build. We're not going to see DeWalt go for one of these like noob tester builds where you try to get your Nexus up basically immediately. He's putting some respect on the Spire name and throwing down a Forge. Initially, we'll see if he wants to go for like 2 cannons before the Nexus. I've seen some really scared Protoss players do that. And honestly, that's not the greatest at that point. It's not a fast expand anymore. It's basically like a very normally, reasonably timed expand. But yeah, we should see the Nexus here momentarily.
Yeah, just to answer a quick question from the chat from Pururu Owns. It is a live stream, but they are from replays because when these games are played on this round, no, the round before this one, 8 best of 5s are being played at the same time, and we would probably need about maybe 10 or 11 hours to cast them all live, and also they're all played from all over the globe, so we would cause a lot of latency issues with us casting. So that's why it's from replays. These games were actually played about 2 weeks ago based on the date on the replay, so they're not too old. Luckily enough, the results don't get spoiled anywhere, and it's cool to see them live like this.
Yeah, this is as live as we can get without it being turn rate 8 for everybody. So I think it's a pretty decent compromise. Anyways, to get back to the actual game, we did have DeWalt scout correctly. Surprise. And now he's got that Devil Probe in the base for what seems like forever. But crucially enough, with the Lings coming back around here, they should be able to kind of trap this and take it out. The 2 biggest kind of trademarks on this map are, I think, the neutral buildings. There's that Warp Gate, which is only 700 hit points, and then the stacked Protoss temples, which do require a little bit more work to take down. Yeah. So anytime you have a map with some of these back-rear pathways, you always have to watch out for some sneaky shenanigans. But I actually think this should be a mostly straight-up way to play the game. So I'm excited because I really want to just see a massive slugfest that goes for like 85 minutes. So these are my dreams, Kicks.
They are, and you know what? They're quite reasonable. We've had really long games in the STPL before. It's not like every game in the STPL is 6 minutes. Although there is a 6-minute cursor mode, because we did go through a long period where I'd probably say like 90% of our games didn't go over 6 minutes, but that's kind of the beauty of a team league. You do get quick games in team leagues. People want to try cheesy stuff to try and get quick and easy wins for their team. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and other times you do get those long macro games, so it's kind of cool that it's been going for so long that we've had such an experience of being able to see all those kind of different games. It's not like it's been a short tournament where for a month straight you get 6-minute games or anything. It's nice.
Yeah, the games have actually been a lot better than that. But let's not curse it, Kicks. I do want to actually see a long game between these guys, and just to see how things are starting up. DeWalt's going to go for Shuttle Reaver, or Corsair Reaver rather. Not sure why I included there would be a shuttle with a Reaver. It's not going to crawl across the map.
Well, I mean, it could do. It would be kind of cool to see, but I don't think it's going to happen. And also,
No.
if he starts to attack now, we can probably see him get to the Zerg base at like 20 minutes, so should be good.
I mean, I'm just kind of surmising this is what I hope would happen because DeWalt's Reaver control is so good. But on the other side, let's kind of keep an eye. What are these drones doing all the way across the map, Kicks?
You know, I don't actually know. Oh, he's going to mine out the back passage. Oh, look at this. 40 minerals. They're not stacked. Well, they are. Well, it's not stacked. It's one mineral field. And you know what follows that? A Hydra Burst from behind. And there's no cannons back here. There's only 2 Zealots as well. His first Reaver is only just now starting up. Could this be? I mean, we're at the 6-minute mark, Rapid. Have I cursed us? Oh no.
Oh no, Kicks, what have you done? No one man should have all this power. This is exactly what I was talking about. When you have these mechanics in the map, you have to play to the map. And so there's these 2 stacked temples, but the other way of bypassing that... Yeah, I mean, the probe finding them is good, but it doesn't... oh no, he's going to kill the Robo before the Reaver comes out. This is actually totally tragedy. Can't repair your buildings if you're not Terran, Kicks, and he's even going to lose the Nexus here. This is basically game over. And damn if we just didn't make it barely past the 6-minute mark. You guys just subbed to Kicks' channel, you might want to type that 6-minute curse emote because it's for games like these.
Yeah, and you know what? Genuinely, if DeWalt had scouted for that a little bit sooner, like that probe went down there a little bit too late. Like that probe was heading to scout those minerals in that temple. If that was maybe 20 seconds earlier, well, not 20 seconds because there'd be no units there, but like 5 or 10 seconds earlier, that was a different game. Like, that's so unfortunate. Even if the Reaver came out, to be honest, I don't think it would have lived long enough to build a Scarab, but at least it would have kept the hope alive a little bit longer. But really,
yeah,
really well
at least
played
you
by
could
Spire.
do anything.
Yeah. I mean,
at least there would have been like something to do. DeWalt just had to watch just come in, and like that's where you think that you're living your life, but you're actually in a nightmare, and something happens and you realize, wait a second, this hasn't been reality for so long. My nightmares are real, Kicks. And I think a lot of Protoss's nightmares are Hydras walking through their front door. It's like if a Hydralisk had an ability you could research that allowed them to like phase through terrain. You know how terrifying that would be? You built like your walls or whatever, and the Hydras just like go right through it. That's basically what happened. They just suddenly magically appear in the back of your base. You're like, oh, I don't get to play StarCraft.
Well,
I have to get out of here.
About it, that's what they did in StarCraft 2 with burrowed roaches. So I guess our nightmares have been kind of realized. But I mean, roaches aren't nearly as powerful as StarCraft 1 Hydras. So I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. That's going to be a quick 4-0 victory for SouL here. They're going to head their way into the final. Let's have a quick look at the results screen. Just to go through that, and apparently I'm looking at the wrong screen, so that looks a bit funky, but here we go. SouL taking down iRk, Scan taking down Marwyn, YSC taking down Kenzie, Zealot taking down Aru, and Spire taking down DeWalt, and they're going to be heading in to face the winners of semi-final B, which is going to be Naz versus DM, so that's going to be a long return. I mean, it's kind of funny because DM were in the semi-finals of round 1, and so were iRk, and that was the only time either team has made it to the playoffs. So a little bit of a throwback here. Naz were in the playoffs for round 3, so they're back again, and it's going to be a pretty sick matchup regardless. But we'll see SouL in the final. They did win round 3, and I mean iRk is going to be back in the 3rd, 4th place match, but that's not too bad for them. I think they'll be happy with that.
Still, yeah, very good performance this season from iRk. We might be seeing a little bit more of them a little bit later on. But the biggest thing about this series is just SouL is an incredibly skilled, talented team. And not just because they have strong Korean players who played today. They also have very strong South American players, so you can't take that away from them either. But I think you got a chance to see pretty much the strongest part of their lineup play today, and it wasn't pretty. There was like bloody streaks left all over everything, and it's scary to me if SouL can do this in the semifinals, what we're going to see them do in the finals of round 4.
And you can't forget, I mean, back in round 3, they did this to White Clan as well. So they've also demolished very, very strong, I mean, iRk's very strong team. So regardless, It's going to be cool. We'll be back on Friday for Naz versus DM. Same time, same place. Have a very good evening, everyone, and see you Friday.